Hey mamas, you're listening to the Balanced Working Mama podcast, the only podcast teaching you how to balance your work, motherhood, and wellness. I am Dr. Amber Thornton, clinical psychologist and mama wellness consultant. Each week we dive into tips and strategies and much more so that you too can become a balanced working mama. Let's dive in. Hey mamas, welcome to the Balanced Working Mama podcast. And today I have another mini episode for you. And today I really want to talk to you about why you really need an identity outside of motherhood. But before we get there, I have 4 questions for you. I want you to really sit back, reflect on these questions. Don't think about it too quickly, but I really want you to think about the first response that comes to mind. Number 1, outside of motherhood, who are you? Outside of motherhood, who are you? Number 2, what 3 things really light you up and really make you come alive? What 3 things light you up and really make you come alive? Number 4, what 3 things could you do for hours nonstop if you had the chance? What 3 things could you do for hours nonstop if you had the chance? And then lastly, what are your top 3 personal or professional goals? What are your top 3 personal or professional goals? So I want you to sit with those questions a little bit. Of course, I didn't give you enough time to actually think about them, but I really am hoping that there were some answers or some responses that really were just top of mind for you or that just came up. However, as I was going through those questions, if you realize that you struggled with any of them, or with any of them, there was like a blank for you, or a pause, or like this feeling of unknowing, I really want you to pay close attention to the rest of this episode because this is for you. And it is about why you truly do need an identity outside of motherhood. And the real answer for it, why you really need an identity outside of motherhood, is because you were a person, a human, before you became a mom. And yes, motherhood has probably completely changed the course of your life. It may have really reshifted your identity completely. It may have completely uprooted your priorities and your responsibilities. Becoming a mother shifts our identity, and that does not mean that it becomes our only identity. It does not mean that it becomes our only sense of being. It doesn't mean that it becomes our only sense of purpose. I want you to really know that you need an identity outside of motherhood because it is important for you to be well-rounded and whole, because you are a whole person. And when we are whole people, as well as mothers, we are better mothers, we are better partners, we are better friends, we are better daughters, we are better all the roles, but more importantly, we're better to ourselves because we are connected to ourselves. We are being true to ourselves and we are honoring who we actually are. And so that is why you need an identity outside of motherhood. And if you feel like you are struggling with your identity outside of motherhood, if it feels like once you became a mom, you've kind of lost track of who you are, or you've lost touch with who you feel like you're becoming, or you don't even know who you want to be, I want you to pay attention to these things. I have some exercises for you that I really want you to think about. So the first thing I would recommend is go after this episode, take some time to really go back through those questions that I asked previously, because if you reflect on those questions, it will give you an opportunity to really think about what comes to mind for you. Give yourself more than a few seconds, but really think to yourself, who am I outside of motherhood? What 3 things light me up? What 3 things could I do for hours nonstop if I had the chance? And what are my personal and professional goals? It'll help you to ground yourself in who you are now or who you're becoming outside of motherhood. Next, I really want you to think about these things, or really make sure that you're doing these things in the next few weeks. 1, realize that it is not too late to tap back into yourself. It's not too late to tap into this new person that you've become after motherhood. So you don't feel like, I'm discouraged because I don't know, I'm discouraged because I've lost track. That is okay. Today is the perfect day to start this. And I really want you to pay attention in the next few weeks to what are the things that actually do make you come alive? What are the things that spark joy in you? What are the things that you are drawn to? What are the things you are attracted to? What brings you enjoyment? When you start to realize those things in the next few weeks, I really want you to then become very intentional. Intentional. Why do I keep saying that, y'all? I want you to become very intentional about making time and space for some of those things. And granted, yes, we are mamas, so we likely don't have a lot of time to make space for everything that brings us joy or everything that may come to mind for you as you journal and think about these questions. However, set aside 5 minutes a day, work up to 10 minutes. Then maybe you can get to 15 minutes. And who knows, maybe you'll be able to get to a whole day once a month. But really be intentional about what type of time can I carve out for myself to make room for the things that light me up, make room for the things that bring me joy, make room for the things that actually do fill me up. And then lastly, I want you to remember that when we are living our lives fully, we are happier, we are healthier, and we are whole people. And that only enhances motherhood, y'all. So I wish you well on your journey of becoming more connected with yourself and realizing that, yes, you do have an identity outside of motherhood because motherhood is so amazing and so are you. So I hope that this was helpful, y'all. Thanks for listening to the Balanced Working Mama podcast, and I'll see y'all next time. Hey, Mama. Thank you for listening to the Balanced Working Mama podcast. If you love this podcast, please be sure to rate it and share it with another mama that you know. And don't forget to follow me and Balanced Working Mama on Instagram. I'll talk to you soon.